May 21st, 1943, Eastern Front, near Leningrad. The ground trembles before you even hear it. A low, mechanical growl ripples through the fog. Not thunder, not artillery. Something heavier, deliberate, alive. German soldiers step aside as a blackened steel beast emerges from the tree line. Its massive treads crush the frozen mud, groaning under a weight of nearly 60 tons. The insignia on its turret gleams through the morning haze. Panzerkampfwagen V Tiger, or simply the Tiger. The crew inside barely speak. Each man knows his role, every movement choreographed in the confined steel belly. The engine, a Maybach HL230, roars behind them, filling the air with the thick scent of fuel and oil. Outside, Soviet scouts freeze in disbelief. Their anti-tank shells, designed to pierce armor a few inches thick, will bounce harmlessly off this new monster. The Tiger's armor is twice that, sloped, dense, impenetrable. When its 88mm KWK-36 cannon turns toward the horizon, time seems to stop. The first shot splits the air with a thunderclap, vaporizing a T-34 from nearly 2 kilometers away. No warning, no chance. Word spreads like wildfire through Allied lines. The Germans have built something unstoppable. In the following weeks, battlefield reports read like ghost stories. Whole tank divisions vanishing after a single encounter. Crews abandoning their vehicles at the mere sight of a Tiger silhouette in the mist. But behind its cold armor lies something more than engineering. It's fear, weaponized, a psychological weapon as much as a mechanical one. The Tiger wasn't just a tank, it was a message, and that message was clear. Germany ruled the battlefield now. Yet even as this iron monster rolled through Europe, one question haunted every Allied commander. How do you stop something that can't be destroyed? June 1943, Kursk, Soviet Union. The dawn mist hangs thick over the Russian plains. Somewhere in the distance, engines rumble, hundreds of them. The largest tank battle in human history is about to begin. Soviet tank commander Captain Ivan Goods peers through his binoculars, the horizon trembling with motion. Dust clouds rise. Through them he sees the shapes, broad, low, impossible silhouettes. Tigers. He swallows hard. His T-34's armor is no match. The Soviet guns can barely scratch a tiger's hide unless they're close enough to see the rivets on its armor. And getting that close means suicide. When the Battle of Kursk erupts, the earth itself seems to split apart. Artillery shells howl, smoke turns the air into ash. And yet, through it all, the Tigers advance, unstoppable. Shells slam into their fronts and sides, sparking harmlessly off the thick plating. Each Tiger moves with mechanical patience, turret turning, cannon firing, precise, deadly, unhurried. One shot, one kill. A T-34 bursts into flames. Another tries to flank, only to be shredded before it even reaches range. Allied intelligence soon realizes this isn't just a tank. It's a fortress that moves. By mid-1943, reports from both the Eastern and Western fronts carry the same tone: disbelief. British Sherman crews in North Africa call them phantoms. American soldiers whisper, "You can't kill a tiger, you just pray it breaks down." And sometimes it did. That was the Tiger's only weakness: itself. Its engine overheated easily. Its transmission jammed. It guzzled fuel faster than Germany could deliver it. But when it worked, it was a nightmare given form. Even the Allies' most experienced tankers began to question their odds.
Every encounter became a gamble between courage and futility. Some crews refused to engage. Others devised desperate tactics: smoke screens, ambushes, artillery traps, anything to survive long enough to get behind it, where its armor was weakest. Still, the Tiger's legend only grew. To soldiers, it was no longer just a machine. It was a myth. And myths, once born, don't die easily. But deep inside the German lines, another machine was being forged. Heavier, slower, even deadlier. If the Tiger was a monster, this would be its god. Tiger II. February 1944, a secret facility near Kassel, Germany. The factory floor glows orange from welding torches. Sparks rain like fireflies across the steel skeleton of something colossal. Engineers in gray overalls move with quiet reverence. They know what they're building is more than a tank. It's a statement of dominance. The Tiger II, known to the Allies as the King Tiger, is unlike anything before it. 70 tons of steel. A longer, deadlier 88mm KWK-43 gun. Armor thick enough to shrug off any Allied shell in existence. It isn't just built to fight, it's built to outlive the war itself. When Adolf Hitler inspects the prototype, his eyes light up. He says, "This is the invincible wall of the Reich." The King Tiger becomes his obsession, a symbol of German superiority in steel and will. But even the engineers whispered doubts. It's too heavy, too complex, too expensive. The roads can barely hold its weight. The bridges crack beneath it. But none of that matters to the Führer.
By summer 1944, the first King Tigers roll onto the battlefield in Normandy, following the Allied invasion of France. And once again, panic spreads. British tank commander Major Robert Henry Kane recalls the first time he saw one through his periscope. It looked like a bunker that moved. Sherman and Cromwell tanks pour fire into it. Nothing. Their shells bounce off, glowing orange against the armor before fading into smoke. The King Tiger turns, its turrets slow but deliberate, and with a single earth-shaking shot, annihilates a Sherman from half a mile away. One by one, Allied tanks burst into flames. Crews bail out, running through fields as the King Tiger advances, grinding over the wreckage of its enemies. But behind that terrifying image lies the same fatal flaw: perfection through excess. The King Tiger's mechanical heart is fragile, an overworked Maybach engine straining under impossible weight. Its gearbox cracks, its tracks snap, its fuel tanks run dry before reaching the front line. Some King Tigers are abandoned before they even see battle, left smoldering by the roadside, victims of their own magnificence. Still, for those that did fight, the legend was enough. Even rumors of a single King Tiger could delay Allied offensives for hours, sometimes days. Commanders would reroute entire battalions just to avoid them. And yet, as 1944 turned into 1945, the tide had already shifted. The Allies were no longer afraid. They were learning, studying, adapting. In the skies above, new predators circled, and for the Iron Monster, the age of invincibility was about to end. August 1944. Near Villers-Bocage, Normandy. Smoke curls above shattered hedgerows. The once green French countryside is a graveyard of metal, burnt Shermans, broken half-tracks, and the hulking shadow of a King Tiger looming in the distance. Allied reconnaissance reports it's immobilized, but no one dares approach. The gun still points down the road, daring anyone to try. Captain Joe Eakins of the Northamptonshire Yeomanry knows that fear all too well. His Sherman Firefly, fitted with a long-barreled 17-pounder gun, is one of the few Allied tanks capable of piercing the Tiger's armor. Still, facing it feels like suicide. His commander's voice crackles through the radio. "Hold your nerve, Joe. Wait for the flank." The ambush begins. The Firefly's crew holds their breath. Then, in the smoke, the silhouette appears, a King Tiger trying to pivot, its turret turning slowly, almost lazily. Eakin squeezes the trigger. The Firefly recoils with a thunderous roar. The round slams into the King Tiger's side armor, sparks explode, metal screams. The monster lurches, smoke pouring from its vents. Another shot, and another. Silence. Then, a low boom from inside. The King Tiger erupts in fire, its ammunition cooking off like fireworks. The crew never stood a chance. The impossible had happened. A tiger had fallen. Across Europe, moments like this multiply. Allied engineers begin designing new weapons specifically to counter the Tiger threat, like the American M36 Jackson, armed with a 90mm gun capable of killing a tiger from distance. The Soviets, learning fast, deploy the IS-2, its 122mm gun powerful enough to rip through German armor. And from above, the real hunters arrive: Thunderbolts, Typhoons, and IL-2 Sturmoviks, each armed with rockets, bombs, and cannons that can tear open even the thickest Tiger armor. For all its strength, the iron monster has no answer for the sky. A single rocket can end what a dozen tanks could not. Soon, the legend begins to crumble. The roads, once lined with Tiger tracks, are now littered with their carcasses, burned, abandoned, or bombed from above. Even German crews begin to doubt. Some refer to their machines bitterly as steel coffins. They know no tank, no matter how mighty, can stop an army that refuses to quit. Still, in the wreckage and the smoke, the Tiger's shadow lingers. Its name alone can still make a man hesitate before turning the key in his tank. But the end is coming, for the Tiger, for the Reich, and for the war that birthed them both. And when it comes, the Iron Monster won't go quietly. April 1945. The outskirts of Berlin. Snow drifts across the ruined streets, muffling the sound of distant gunfire. The Reich is collapsing. And yet, in the chaos, a few Tigers still prowl, remnants of a dying dream. Inside one of them, Oberleutnant Otto Karius, one of Germany's most famous Tiger commanders, adjusts his headset. His tank, 217, is blackened with soot, its engine coughing with every turn. Around him, the city burns. The Tiger once ruled the battlefield. Now it's just trying to survive it. Soviet artillery pounds the city relentlessly. The once mighty Wehrmacht scrambles for ammunition, fuel, and hope, all equally scarce. Karius's tank rolls through the rubble-strewn streets, its treads grinding over debris, its guns searching for enemies that seem to come from every direction. A shell slams into a nearby wall, showering the tank with bricks and dust. The radio hisses with static. Somewhere above, engines roar. Soviet IL-2 Sturmoviks dive through the smoke, hunting what's left of Germany's armored pride. Karius orders the tank into cover, but there's no cover left. The air is filled with fire. The sky is the enemy now. Then, the unthinkable. The engine dies. The crew tries to restart it, their hands black with oil and fear. Nothing. The Tiger, once unstoppable, now sits silent and still. They abandon it. One by one, the men climb out, running for the shadows as Soviet troops close in. Moments later, a rocket screams down from above.
The king of the battlefield explodes in a pillar of flame. That was how the iron monster met its end, not in glory, but in exhaustion, not destroyed by a single bullet, but by the weight of war itself. By May 1945, the war was over. Berlin had fallen. Of the 1,347 Tiger I and 489 Tiger II tanks ever built, most lay scattered across Europe, burned out, captured, or rusting in forgotten fields. But their legend survived. Allied soldiers would tell stories for years about the time they faced one. Historians would argue endlessly about whether it was truly the best tank of the war or simply the most feared. Because that's what the Tiger really was. Fear, forged in steel. And even today, when you stand before one of the few surviving Tigers in a museum, massive, scarred, silent, you can almost feel it watching you back. A reminder of an age when man's obsession with power birthed monsters of metal, and when even the strongest machines couldn't outlast the frailty of those who built them. The iron monster had fallen, but its roar still echoes through history. Every tank, every soldier, every battlefield holds a story of courage, of fear, of men who faced the impossible. And here on Lyfory, those stories live again. If you felt the power of this journey, the roar of the Tiger, the fire of history, then don't let it end here. Subscribe to keep walking through time with us. Like this video to honor the stories that must never be forgotten. Because the past isn't gone, it's just waiting to be told. This is Lyfory, where history breathes.